Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source, your source for celeb news. Now today we got Cardi B with the merch, Chris Brown with the new tat, Nas on versus battle. What happened to R. Kelly after they put the pause on him? Steve Stout telling people who not to vote for, and what Dre's estranged wife ain't trying to give back. Hey yo, again, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source. If this is your first time to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Be sure to follow us on the gram at celeb_source1. And don't forget to check out our community page. We have some bangers there for you and the like for your perusal. Oh yeah, yo, shout out to the Milwaukee Bucks, Houston Rockets, Oklahoma City Thunder, Lakers, and the Trailblazers, who decided to not participate in the playoffs as a way of saying, quote, we are not gonna provide entertainment, that's my quote, we are not gonna provide entertainment for you while you remain quiet and do nothing about law enforcement popping our cousins and brothers with no penalty, close quote. Close my quote. We are gonna hit you in the pockets where we know it hurts. And, oh wait, they ended the protest after one day? Yo, the shout out, I take that back. Now, first on deck is Cardi B, who is using her marketing expertise to sell some new WAP merch, right? It's merch she's selling, not WAP, okay? Now, you know what WAP is all about, but her WAP merch is pretty much about the exact opposite. That is, her merch is all about keeping you dry and comfy, with her merch ranging from raincoats to umbrellas to crop tops, exercise gear, and even sweatpants. Yo, I guess she understands that although it ain't a crime to get wet, some days you just gotta stay dry. Now, a lot of the clothing items are running for approximately $125. I wanna say, Cardi, you want the ladies wet or dry? But I just know she gonna say both. Hey yo, remember that we reported to you a few days ago that Chris Brown was pretty upset at the fact that his name was being dragged in social media. Remember that was surrounding the Megan incident because folks started bringing up his name and the whole 9 yards. Now Chris has recently found himself, right, posting images of some new jewelry he has. But get this, the jewelry that he was posting was the image of a chain. Ain't nothing wrong with that, right? The chain was gold. Okay, still nothing wrong with that. But the chain is of a razor blade with cocaine powder on the edge of it. Now, not only does this raise a few eyebrows, right? But he appeared to have solidified his position on drugs by getting an image of himself overdosed, permanently tattooed on his skin. Which reminds me, right, of Amy Winehouse. She was one of the hottest female singers. Remember that? To grace a mic. And she came out with the song Rehab. Remember that? Yo, they tried to make me go to rehab, but I said no, before promptly being found overdosed on drugs. Now, with this tattoo, I'm wondering if this is a premonition of a dark outcome for the singer. I mean, we certainly hope it isn't, right? But life can be a bit poetic at times. I've noticed that. And the author of Life and Death is certainly not one to be mocked. Yo, I said it before and I'll say it again. Sometimes the worst thing that can happen to you is that you get a hold of too much money. You're like, well, yo, I'm pretty clear on that. Man, you missed my point. Nas has been in our headlines quite a few times, and he should be, right? He's a legend. Nas has found himself in an interview with Apple Music and expressed that he has found himself enjoying versus battles, just like you and I, but he is not trying to step into the versus battle arena. Nas stated the following in his interview. He said, quote, I talked to Swizz Beatz. I'm really proud of what he's built with verses, and I'm more of a fan to know who's going to be next. So I'm calling Swizz like, yo, who you got? Who's next? I'm really a fan. I really want to know, and I think he knows that's not what I'm trying to do. But I like to know who's coming next. Close quote. Yeah, you know folks is out there like, yo, Nas, you next, bro. I mean, what you talking about? Who is next? You're next. But in my opinion, right? I mean, I honestly don't think he should be. next in a versus battle at all, right? His whole style is such that any versus battle he does wouldn't be a versus battle, but it would be more or less like a celebration of hip hop. Now, I mean, you can say what you want or whatever, but that's just kind of how I see it. Now, Rakim, yeah, he wants a piece of Big Daddy Kane. Throw him in the ring, okay? All kinds of artists, they're like, yo, man, put me in the ring. But Nas, I just don't see it like that. R. Kelly has found himself on the business end of an attack in a correctional facility and that he's currently housed in. Now, R. Kelly's attorney stated the following. Now, we reported this to you yesterday. We said that due to the protests or what have you, someone came and they shut down the correctional facility, and someone rolled up into R. Kelly's room or what have you, where he was, and they put the pause on him. Now, R. Kelly's attorney has stated the following. He said, quote, "My understanding is every time there is a R. Kelly protest outside of the jail, they lock down the entire facility." Speaking, close quote. So now, this has me wondering, right? If the protesters are doing this on purpose, do they know that every time they do this, folks put pause on him? I mean, maybe it's his ops that are doing this on purpose. Anyway, he continues on. He says, quote, "When they do this, that is the protests, inmates don't get their commissary, they don't get their shower, stuff like that. And since they're fairly sporadic anyway, they get upset. So they're penalizing everyone in the facility because people are protesting in support of Kelly." Close quote. It has me thinking in my head, was the 2 minutes really worth it? I mean, whatever. 45 seconds, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 7 minutes. I mean, depending on how good it is, you know that diminishes the time period, right? 45 seconds of pleasure. And then you're blocking blows like you in a ring with Roy Jones or something like that. Now, Kelly, who once sang "I Believe I Can Fly," has been transferred to solitary confinement. His attorney stated the following. He said, quote, "I'm still very concerned because, sure, this time the guards were able to quickly stop something from happening. But what happens if someone goes in his cell with a shank or something like that? Or the guards are busy doing something else?" Close quote. Now, come on. It's almost as if he's implying that Kelly is not safe in the hands of police. Come on. Music executive Steve Stout has stated on the Boardroom podcast that he does not want anyone that is black to vote for Kanye West, because we were really thinking about voting for Kanye West. Now, Stout stated the following. He said, quote, "I don't want anybody black running around voting for Kanye West." I mean, he was pretty clear with that one, right? "If you're gonna vote," this is what he says, he's continuing on, "if you're gonna vote for Donald Trump and you choose Kanye West instead of Donald Trump, great. That will help the Biden campaign." You're not supposed to say that part, bro. You're giving out the hint, man. Don't tell them that. Whatever. He continues on and says, "But I don't want black people who are thinking about voting for Biden voting for Kanye West in the markets, in the areas that he's registered as a candidate. That's going to hurt us." Close quote. Now, I'm pretty sure that goes without saying, but you know, some folks need it read out to them. Now, what I'm saying is this: the fact that Kanye has 2%, right, of the black vote may be the reason as to why Stout felt the need to make this particular announcement. But perhaps, right, the 2% vote was the percent that was probably going to vote for Trump. I mean, I know it would be strange, but haven't we seen stranger? And finally, as you may already know, Dr. Dre is in the middle of what appears to be a messy divorce. And you know, when there's a messy divorce, you have the issue of the separation of goods. Cars get split in half. The husband is often left with the butt end of the dog. Now, according to legal documents, Nicole Young is prohibiting producer Dr. Dre from getting his treasured items, such as his golf clubs. I know, you're like, Dre, golf? Yeah, apparently Dre plays golf. Imagine being on a golf course and crossing paths with Dr. Dre looking for his golf ball somewhere by the lake. Anyway, his golf clubs, a motorcycle from their beach house in Malibu, California, and his firearm. Now, why would he need that? The documents read as follows. It says, Mr. Young sent someone to Malibu this morning to pick up some of his personal belongings, something Miss Young does almost daily at the Brentwood home. Dre's legal team wrote in a letter to his wife's representation. At first, your client said, quote, okay, but after walking away for 5 minutes, assumedly to call your office, she came back and rejected the request, close quote. Now, the two are legally disputing a $1 billion fortune. And yes, she did make half of the beats that Dre produced. You see her name in all of the beats, or half of them. And of course, you know she never made a damn beat. But here she goes, right? Now, remember, she claims that Dre forced her to sign a prenuptial agreement before changing his mind and turning around and tearing up multiple copies of the document. Come on, lady, really? And so therefore, because he tore up multiple copies of the document, it's not eligible or what have you. Whatever, okay? She filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. Now, just for the record, right? According to Divorce Magazine, 70% of divorces are initiated by women, and 90% of divorces are initiated by women between college-educated couples. Yeah, I be jumping on the men, right? Whenever they slap y'all around and pop y'all on the foot, stuff like that, I be jumping on them like, yo, man, we can't do this, man. We got to stand up for our ladies and the whole 9 yards. But 70%, 90%, yo, tell your friends, right? Ladies, tell your friends, stop, because I know it ain't none of y'all. Tell your friends, stop breaking up the family dynamic, please. And don't try to pass the buck, right? Like all them other times. Just own it this time. Yeah, we do some sucker-ish, but if we ain't jack you up, or we ain't cheat, man, you really got no excuse, okay? Yo, let us know what you think in the comments below. Should Nas find himself in a versus battle because no one is exempt? And should the NBA players have held their ground? And tell me, wet or dry? How do you like your cereal? And yo, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source, your source for celeb news.